Keeping up with our motto, let learning be a joy and teaching a pleasure, here we are with remote teaching and learning process to bridge the gap. Happy learning to all students. Hello students, I welcome you all once again in today's online history session. Today we are going to start chapter 4, the freedom struggle of 1857. This is part 1 of the chapter. The freedom struggle of 1857 is also called the Sepoy Mutiny, the Indian Mutiny, India's first war of independence, the Indian insurrection. This struggle completely shook the British government, and it did not arise all of a sudden. Many such struggles took place in India against the British earlier as well. The author Veer Savarkar has mentioned the scope and background of the struggle of 1857 in his book The Indian War of Independence 1857. Later, many revolutionaries got inspiration from it to fight against the British. Struggle before 1857. Before studying the causes of struggle of 1857, let's see what happened before that. At every place where the British rule was established in India, the local people had to bear the ill effects of British government. And gradually, the Indians started feeling as if they were being exploited in every aspect of their life. Now, this resulted in increase of discontent against the British rule. Farmers and common people became bankrupt during the company rule. In 1770, there was major famine in the Bengal province, but the Britishers were indifferent and insensitive towards Indian people and did nothing to help them. From 1763 to 1857, the peasants of Bengal participated in the rebellion led by Sannyasi Fakir. Similar revolts took place in Gujarat, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, and South India. Umaji Nayak also gave a strong fight. He organized Ramoshis and the local youth to fight against the British. Now, Ramoshis is an Indian community found in Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, and Karnataka. This community once used to fight battles for the Marathas. So they appealed everyone to fight against the British government and overthrow it. They inspired people in Pune, Satara, Ahmednagar, Solapur, Nasik, and Bhor. In 1832, Umaji Naik was arrested and hanged to death. The Indian tribes and forest communities also challenged the British rule. Why? Because the livelihood of these communities was dependent on forest resources, and the British laws put restrictions on it. These are the name of some of the Indian tribes and forest communities. Kolam area of Chota Nagpur, Gonds of Orissa, Santals of Bihar, Gadkaris from Kolhapur, Font Sawant from Konkan challenged the British. Before 1857, some zamindars and royal classes from different territories rebelled against the British. Next is revolt by ill-treated sepoys. In the Indian Army, in the Army of East India Company, there were many Indian sepoys. They were ill-treated by the company. Their salary and allowances were very less as compared to the British soldiers. In 1806, at Vellore and in 1824 at Barakpur, the revolt took a fierce form. These revolts were local in nature. It means that these rebellions took place in their respective territories only. The British forcibly broke down the revolts. Public unhappiness was suppressed, but it did not vanish. This anger burst out in the freedom struggle of 1857. At various places, the rebellion took place against the British. One example of this is Paika rebellion in Odisha. Paikas are the standing army of various independent kings. Rent-free lands were granted to them for the cultivation by the king. They earned their livelihood through it, and in return, they were supported. They were supposed to stand by the king's side in case of eruption of war. In 1803, the England conquered Odisha and took over their rent-free lands. This made the Paikas angry. Britishers imposed tax on salt and it brought rise in the price of salt. This made the life of common people more miserable. All this resulted in an armed rebellion of Paikas against the British in 1817 led by Bakshi Jaganbandhu Vidyadhar. Let's move towards causes of struggle of 1857. During the British period, there were many kingdoms in India. Whatever changes took place at the center never affected the village system. The village system continues as it is. But the Britishers changed the prevalent system and tried to set up a new system. Looking at the changing nature of the village system created a feeling of instability and insecurity in the minds of people. So, based on that, following are the causes of struggle of 1857: economic causes, social causes, political causes, discontent among Indian soldiers, immediate causes. Let's study about them one by one. Economic causes. New revenue system. The British introduced new revenue system to increase their income. Taxes were forcibly extracted from the farmers. As a result of it, agriculture system collapsed. To sell the British goods in India and enjoy profit was the policy of the British. They imposed heavy taxes on the local industries. The handicraft and textile industry of India were ruined. Many Indian artisans became unemployed. They had growing discontent in their mind against the British. So these were the economic causes behind the struggle of 1857. Let's move to social causes. The Indians felt that the Britishers were interfering in the culture, tradition and customs of India. Sati Prohibition Act by Lord William Banting in 1829 and Widow Marriage Act 1856, passed by Lord Dalhousie, were correct from social point of view. But the Indians thought that it is an interference in their lifestyle and hence they were dissatisfied. Next are political causes. After 1757, the British took charge of many Indian states. Later, Lord Dalhousie annexed many princely states on various causes. The Nawab of Ayodhya was dethroned on grounds of maladministration. According to them, his administration was not good. Whereas the princely states of Satara, Nagpur, and Jhansi were annexed through the doctrine of lapse. Now, the doctrine of lapse was an annexation policy applied by the British in India. According to this doctrine, if any Indian ruler dies without leaving a male heir, his kingdom would automatically passed over to British. So, following this, they took the Indian territories under their control. So, these are some of the places this yellow part was under Britishers. Due to the policies of Dalhousie, the Indians did not consider the British as trustworthy. Next is discontent among Indian soldiers. The Indian soldiers were given low status by the British officers. They could not gain any post higher than the Subedar. They were paid less compared to the British soldiers. The allowances were also gradually decreased. Due to these reasons, there was growing discontent among the Indian soldiers. Next are the immediate causes for struggle of 1857. In 1857, the British provided long Enfield rifles to the Indian sepoys. The sepoys were required to bite the end of the cartridge. The news spread out that these cartridges were smeared in the fats of cow and pig. And due to this, the religious sentiments of Hindu and Muslim sepoys were hurt and made them happy. The outburst. The disciplinary actions were taken on those sepoys who refused to use these smeared cartridges and were given severe punishment. Mangal Pandey from Barakpur cantonment shot an English officer as a reaction to unjust nature of British officer. Mangal Pandey was arrested and hanged to death, and this news spread like fire. The entire regiment of sepoys at Meerut took part in the freedom struggle and marched towards Delhi. Thousands of Indians voluntarily joined them on the way. They handed the freedom struggle, they handed the leadership of the freedom struggle of Mughal Emperor Bahadur Shah and proclaimed him as the Emperor of India. So, students, these were some of the events that took place 1857, and we have also studied the causes of the struggle for 1857. So that's all for today. We will continue the same chapter in the next session. Thank you. Thank you very much.